Hi guys, if you didn't know, I went to Ubbi Dubbi Festival, and if you missed that vlog, you can find it right here somewhere at the top. There's some things that I wanted to talk about, so let's get into it. I am going to talk about the security and getting into the camping grounds. I'm going to talk about our camping experience, and I'm going to talk about what was really great, what I loved, and things that they could improve and change for next year if they keep Ubbi Dubbi at the same venue. So the first thing that I want to start with is us turning into the venue to Texas Motorplex and not even knowing where to go. There were no signs, there was nothing to say where the campers go or where anyone really goes. There were no signs. There was a sign that said gate 10 and gate 20, and then it said festival deliveries this way. But those were the only signs that we saw, so we kind of had to guess where to go. And we drove down the road a little bit after we pulled into the venue, and we saw a bunch of cars lined up. So we were just assuming that that's where we had to go. There wasn't anyone telling you where to go. There weren't any workers telling you to go this way or telling you what's going on, like this is for camping, just hold tight, this is where you go through security. No one was telling you where to go or what to do. What really confused us the most is that they said that there was going to be 3 lines. There was going to be a line for people with the vaccination, people with the clear health pass, and people that didn't have a vaccination or didn't sign up for the clear health pass. There wasn't 3 lines, there was just 1 line. No one was telling us where to go, and by the time we got to security, there were not 3 lines separating you. We were all in 1 line, but then it went into 2 lines. There was the road that we were on, and then there was another road across from us, and that created 2 lines. And we were just at a stop, and I saw this guy starting to talk to all these other cars, so I rolled down my window to see what he was saying, and he said, "Get out of your car, don't have anything in your hand, put your hands to the side and go to the white line." They didn't really tell us what it was for, and they already said that the mask wasn't required. We weren't wearing our masks, and then we were gonna go back into the car to get it, but the guy said that you don't really need it for this part. So already the masks weren't really enforced, and we didn't know what was going on. And then when we were finally all in a line, they said that the COVID sniffing dogs were gonna go across our hand and smell our hand to see if we have COVID. The dogs sniffed our hands, and then they said to go back in your car, and then still didn't really tell us what was going on. But I kind of just guessed that the next step was security, because that's usually what happens, is you turn in and you go through security. So before we could go through security, they turned those 2 lanes into maybe more than 5 lanes. I'm not really sure how many lanes there were, but there was a lot. I know that there was probably more than 5, and they weren't separating the 3 lines like they said that they were, and this was just for camping. The lines split off into many lanes, and we didn't know if camping was supposed to have the 3 separate lanes, but Disco Donnie and Ubbi Dubbi and the emails that were sent to us kept saying that there was going to be 3 separate lines to go into the festival. And from what I've heard, the main entry didn't even have the 3 separate lanes. So before you got through security, the clear health pass staff, employees, people that worked for Clear were going to every single car to see if you had the Clear health pass and to see if it was green. And when it's green, that means that you passed the questionnaire and you're all good to go in. This girl went to our car and she asked if we had our Clear health pass, and we said yes, and she wasn't even wearing a mask. Like, she was wearing it under here, like right under her chin. So even the employee, the person that worked for Clear, didn't even have her mask on, and she was coming up to us asking if we did the Clear Health Pass, so that really confused us. After the Clear Health Pass, We got to security, they checked our car, and then we had to get out of our car. We had to show them our clear health pass and then scan our camping wristband, which looked like this. We went in, we scanned the wristband, and then they told us to head on in to the festival. We went to the festival, and just like regular camping festivals, they tell you to go down a line and to park, and there was so much mud from the rain, and if you didn't hear, it rained like all so much mud that the moment that we got there, and we got there around like 7 o'clock at night, so we weren't there all day long. We got there pretty late at night. We started setting up our campsite, and it started raining again. So there was puddles all over our stuff. Oh my god, puddles. We weren't able to actually set up our stuff right away, and of course that's not Ubbi Dubbi's fault. I'm not saying that's Ubbi Dubbi's fault. So that was a shock. We didn't get to set up all our stuff right away. We just set up what we could, and we headed to Ubbi Dubbi. I think that's what it was called. It was where the stage was for the pre-party and the after party for campers, and it had like the vendors and the food and the general store and all that stuff. So we went to that area to see Adventure Club, and we couldn't even walk because it was so muddy. It was so muddy. We were all holding on to each other like this, trying to walk to the stage, and everyone was just trying to like go like this, like trying to avoid the mud as much as possible. But there was so much mud, it was unavoidable. So while we were watching Adventure Club, there were staff members that were holding like totems, like signs that said mask up or put your mask on, and they were handing out those blue disposable surgical masks, and we thought that was really great. They were handing out the masks to people that weren't wearing one. But after that night, the pre-party for camping, we didn't see them in the festival grounds or in the camping grounds the entire weekend. And that's just from what we saw. They might have been there, but we didn't see them for the rest of the weekend. Well, I just want to go over some things that we experienced camping at Ubbi Dubbi. First was, I forgot to turn that off. That's gonna be in the whole video. First was the camping activities. So we didn't do too much camping activities, but one that we did try and look for, and we actually were on time to look for, was the cacao ceremony. And we looked all over the place. We looked in the camping activity area. We even went as far as like the RV camping, and we circled around like 2 or 3 times, and we did not find it. It was not there. Like, if it was there, it was hiding very well because we did not find it. So we weren't able to do that because we didn't find it. I don't know if they decided not to do it or somehow we just didn't find it, but we could not find that anywhere. They did have the tie-dye making party, and it kind of looked like they replaced the tie-dye for the cacao ceremony because tie-dye wasn't supposed to be that day, but they had a whole setup. But they also had other things like yoga and live painting that you could watch, and they also had field games. If you went to Ubbi Dubbi, and if you went to any of these camping activities, let me know in the comments below. I would love to know how it actually went. We're just curious on if these camping activities actually happened or if they didn't. Another thing that I want to mention is the layout of the camping ground. I really like how they separated the tents and the line that you were at. They had these signs that said like 13th Street, 14th, 15th Street, so it was really easy to find your tent at the end of the night or even in the middle of the day. It was a lot easier to find than trying to figure out what line you're at and then where your campsite is at. Another thing that was really funny was the horse security. We've never been to a festival in Texas, so we're not really sure if this is normal or not, but there was literal horse security. So randomly you would just hear like a horse neigh in the background, or you would just see like horses going down the path. So at first we were really confused why there was horse security, but we don't know if this is exactly why there were horses there, but we think it's because horses are like tall, so they're able to like overlook on people and look inside like
You're making it sound like the horses are looking.
oh
So like the guards on the horse are able
the
to
people
look.
on the horse, right? It made it sound like the horses, but it's not the horses looking in your car, like looking over you. It's like the people, like the guards, like the security that's on the horse, so they can like look up and look at everyone in their campsite or their cars or whatever they're trying to look at. The last thing I want to talk about for camping are the restrooms. This is pretty normal. The morning of day one, the toilet paper was already gone. Pro tip, bring extra toilet paper and travel tissue every time you go to a festival, because toilet paper talking about toilet paper is hard because the toilet paper runs out really fast. So the first time we used the porta potties, when we used the soap, that was not soap. Like that was not soap. That was straight up bleach. That our hands smelled like bleach. Like it was just bleach. It wasn't soap, or maybe it was a really special kind of soap. Now we're going to talk about the festival grounds, and first I'm going to go through the things that they could improve on. The first thing is that no one was wearing a mask. No one. Absolutely no one. I would say that every 1 in 50 people were wearing masks. And honestly, probably worse, but I'm gonna say like every 1 in 50. So no one was wearing masks, no one was enforcing it, the staff wasn't wearing masks, and not even the food vendors were wearing masks. Another thing is that there wasn't enough trash cans in the festival grounds, so the trash cans that were there were completely filled, and there was just a bunch of trash surrounding the trash cans. Where the food area was, there was no trash cans there either, so there were just specific tables that people chose, and they just piled a bunch of trash on there. And I wish I had a picture, because they just like they had to make up their own trash can. Another thing is all the vendors seemed like they had the same type of products. There wasn't anyone that like really stood out to us. All the vendors kind of looked the same. It just would have been nice to see more of a variety of things. The last thing is something that kind of offended us. It was kind of rude that Illenium got fireworks and Liquid Stranger didn't get fireworks. That's pretty much it. I mean, Liquid Stranger deserved to have some type of fireworks too, and I feel like Illenium got all the fireworks. Share some with Liquid Stranger. Like, his set was so amazing. You could have just shared some of those fireworks with him. Okay, and to end on a good note, I wanted to say some things that I really did love about Ubbi Dubbi. The lineup was golden. Like, the lineup was great. From the moment that the gates opened to the gates closed, that lineup was stacked. Thank you, Rave Gods, because that lineup just like refreshed me. The stage designs were also really nice. I really liked how they were. I really liked the Ubbi stage, the Dubbi stage, and the house stage. I just really liked the stage setup. I loved the lasers. I really liked the screens. I loved the performers. Another thing is that there were a lot of restrooms. A lot of people piled up to the closest restrooms, but if you walked a little further, there were no lines in the very back. So there were a lot of restrooms that people didn't realize were there. The people we met were also very, very sweet, very nice. Our neighbors at our campsite were very nice. We got really, really sweet neighbors. The people walking around selling their art was also very sweet, and we did buy some art prints from this guy, and he sold his art for $5, and he said something like, "My art is only $5 and I make it on my phone because I'm too broke for a computer." So we got a couple pieces. We got this one, and if I can find his info, I will link his. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna link because I'm not sure how to find him, but if I find him, his information will be in the description below. Another thing that we bought was, I'm not really sure if you would call it like a pendant, or I don't know what you would call it, but they said that they go out and they find these mushrooms and this wood, and then I think they use a 3D printer for this, and then they put it all together, and this is what they make. And they were very sweet, so we got one from them, and this is just beautiful. I love it. You can tell that there's a lot of love that was put into this. And we did get their business card, but I don't know if you can see that very well, but we will put their Instagram in the description too. Overall, the experience at Ubbi Dubbi was really great, but honestly, I don't think that I am going to attend Ubbi Dubbi next year. Personally, there are a lot more festivals that I want to experience before I go back to Ubbi Dubbi. That is it for my Ubbi Dubbi 2021 review. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!